The B.S Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects.
First of all,
This is the B.S Report with Bill Simmons.
it might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't care.
The B.S Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the sports guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The B.S Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now.
Here's Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the B.S Report, a hazy Monday here in Southern California. A very hazy Monday for our friend cousin Sal, who got creamed by the NFL this weekend. Sal, how you feeling?
I feel like I went 0-4 and have the Jets tonight. That's how I feel.
In the Super Contest?
Yeah.
What were your 4 picks?
I got cute with the underdog, the home underdogs. Well, actually, Tennessee wasn't home, but I like them. Jacksonville. I mean, I think those might be the 2 worst teams in the league. I had both of them, and that was like a 65-12 annihilation, just those 2. I had who else was bad? I had Green Bay, who was up 21-3. We know that story there, and I had I had San Diego, which I feel like I got jobbed on that one, right? Or you do too.
Yeah. I went 3-2 in the Super Contest. I had a good feel for the league this week.
Yeah.
The two games I lost were the Steelers game. They won but didn't cover, which always hurts, especially when the line's under 4. And then that Chargers pick, I would do that 10 times out of 10. They're up 24-14. They pick off a pick 6 to finish the game, and they call the dubious helmet to the head penalty. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. There's going to be times when you're tackling a quarterback when your helmet's going to hit his helmet. We can't just eliminate that.
As Chris Collinsworth says, it is hard to play defense in today's NFL. But it really is. I mean, you could have a problem with every play. And one shouldn't have had 3 problems after the 2-minute warning. Talk about dubious. I feel like Roger Goodell said, all right, Saints can't lose this game. Right at the 2-minute warning, he instructed the refs to sweep the leg. And that was it. I mean, those were some awful calls. I mean, I know they got the first down on 2nd and 37, but they were pushed back enough and didn't have enough time, so it made it different.
The refs were really bad. I almost had a barrage of tweets, and then I held off. I was really upset. The Gates offensive interference was a travesty. That was really terrible.
They could have easily called it on the defender like that 3 plays later. It was just as bad, him getting held, so...
Yeah, it didn't. And then
these refs have to decide every close night game. It's not fun to watch.
And that was pass interference on the play that led to the interception.
Yeah.
He jumped over the guy's back and he tipped the pass.
Yeah.
And that's always a penalty. I felt the same way. I did feel like I think Goodell started to get a little freaked out that the Saints might go 0-16 and he couldn't go to his own Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Hey, let's."
I think it makes him look bad.
Close.
Like, you made a decision. This Peyton, I did hit over 57.5 cutaways to Sean Payton. Although I'm convinced he left in the first quarter, and they just used the same one the whole game. Because
they looped it like in Speed.
Yeah,
with Keanu Reeves in the bus.
Dennis Hopper. No.
I like that.
That's good because it was the same reaction, and what is he doing after a while? But
My wife got freaked out. She was going through emails and I had the game on and she looked up. She's like, "Oh my God, that guy looks like you." Sean Payton. I don't feel like I look like Sean Payton.
A little bit. I'll have to look back at that. Wow.
I will say this about the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
First of all, Breeze was great last night. That team stinks. They're terrible. They're one of the 3 worst teams. I think them, Tennessee, Buffalo. I mean, there's a handful of Jacksonville. Maybe there's like 5 or 6 terrible teams. The Saints are on that list. People are talking about, they have a chance. Can they turn it around? They'd have to go 9. Give me a break. That team's not going to win 8 games.
No, that division.
They
you look
stink.
at the records in that division. So it's Atlanta's 5-0, and everyone else is either 1-4 or is anyone 2-3? Now I'm confusing myself. I think they have 3-game lead or something.
They still have to play Atlanta twice. They still have to play San Francisco. They still have to go at the Giants, at Dallas.
Yeah.
And they have to play at Denver. that team's going to lose at least 10 games. I really hope that that over the 3 weeks after the bye that people are hoping that the Saints come back are thinking that way, because I'm going to be going against that.
I had that gold.
I think they were very lucky last night.
I thought that prop over whoever's playing the Saints to score over whatever's designated
I
total,
thought, yeah.
25 and a half. Oh my God, 25.
Yeah.
They had 31, like you said, with the interception return, and then that garbage at the end.
What did you think of that stat they showed that Norv Turner in one possession games had the second worst coaching record of all time?
Oh, I didn't see that. Wow.
You didn't see that? They
No.
showed that near the end. It was right when I was talking myself into Phil Rivers charging down the field and then overtime, and then all of a sudden they threw that stat. Dick Vermeil was the only coach that had a worse record in one possession games.
Vermeil's worse?
Vermeil was worse. Norv Turner was like 48 and 67, something like that.
Wow. I
Just
think
20
Andy
games under
Reid
500.
gets all the crap that maybe Vermeil should get in North Turner. Maybe.
Well, that's
I don't know.
what I was really upset that Andy Reid wasn't number one. It was almost like finding out that Santa Claus didn't exist or 7.
Yeah.
It's just assumed if that was a real record that people kept track of, that it would be Andy Reid. Let's talk about that quickly. Pittsburgh, Philly. Two teams probably not going anywhere. That was my takeaway from that game. I think those two teams are cross-offs. They might make the playoffs, but
we were warned. You were going to learn a lot about both of these teams in this game.
Right. Yeah, we learned all right.
Nothing to say. But, yeah, Philly's going to play close games. Oh, Michael Vick said, he went out and said, I just want to go out there and win, just trying to win. But, you know, it's coughing the ball up at the one. That's not how it's going to. He may have to sit out a couple of quarters, the way I see it. I mean, they're not moving the ball like they should.
And it did look like Atlanta was ready to just have that classic, things are going too well, everything goes wrong on the road, you lose to a stupid team that you shouldn't lose to game, and then Griffin gets hurt.
Yeah.
And they sneak out and cover.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Griffin doesn't get hurt, if that does feel like that's maybe a 27-24 final or something.
He was starting to move down the field a little, Griffin. I think Atlanta is a solid team, and they're getting a little bit of luck on their side. And I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? They're going to win anywhere between 11 and 13 games, maybe more in that division. So they'll have a bye.
Well,
It's just a matter of home field throughout, right?
It matters in the sense that if they can get the number one seed and they don't have to leave Atlanta until the Super Bowl, and then they're playing the Super Bowl in a dome,
I guess.
I think that's enormous for them.
That's true. They've had a lot of trouble on the road in the playoffs, so that would be big.
Biggest shocker yesterday, and you know what? I had the Colts. I had them picked all week, and then I swapped and I went with the NFC AFC thing in my column and did the whole the Bears are going to kill Jacksonville, Packers kill the Colts thing. But deep down, I was wondering, like, just maybe the Packers just aren't good, and maybe they're just not a good team. Maybe they're, you know, slightly above average, and that's it. That's a terrible loss, and Rodgers doesn't look right.
They take full halves off from games.
Yeah.
They took the first half off of that Seattle game. Say what you want about the ending, but they took the full. I mean, their offensive line. I don't know what's going on with offensive lines and pass rushes in general, but we're seeing things like when we were kids, like 7 sacks and a half was enormous. You would just never see that again, and now it's sort of like routine. Like, Green Bay gets sacked 5 times and a half, 7 times. Seattle, St. Louis, and I don't get what's going on. What's going on with McCarthy? I mean, he sort of has to be blamed a little bit because you know what you're getting with this team. But it's also the same thing. You can't establish a run, and you still have to be able to do that in the NFL. I know I sound like everyone else, but
You should say the National Football League.
National Football League. That's right. I forgot that they still call it that. But yeah, that was bad.
It does feel like we're throwing back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The league's a little top heavy right now. Hey, remember our greatest gambling year ever, 2004, when we just did the 3-teamers for like 12 weeks in a row?
That was nice.
And we just knew we could rely on the Patriots, Steelers, and I forget, maybe it was the Eagles. I can't remember the third team was. It's just like every week, just put the same 3 teams in the tees.
Yeah, that was nice.
We might be going back to that. You know, everyone's a little gun shy after that Niners-Vikings game, but now it turns out the Vikings are good. That wasn't a fluke loss.
The Vikings are good. The
Vikings are good.
NFC North is good. NFC West, I think, is better. And I mean, the NFC West, I don't know what happened. Like like I just mentioned Seattle and St. Louis, like the Niners defense is phenomenal, and now these other defenses have become good. It's like when you wrestled in high school, if you on the JV and wrestled the varsity guys, you got the crap kicked out of you all the time, but you became better as a result. Not me, but I would watch and see this, and it's sort of like that's what's happened in the NFC West. The defenses have gotten matched up with anybody now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think a little more. Spend a little more time thinking about what happened on offensive line play. I mean, even yesterday, and Collinsworth called it out. The left tackle on San Diego was like, that guy can't move anymore. For some reason, San Diego left him in the game. Collinsworth predicted the game-ending sack, and it happened.
Yeah.
It was weird that they couldn't get that guy off the field.
Oh, yeah. Rivers was throwing sidearm passes just to get it out of his face, and a lot of times completing it, 3 yards downfield. But, yeah, I've never seen rushes so far in quarterback, like blowing up in the quarterback's face as much as I have in the first 5 weeks. Is
Phil Rivers good?
I think he's good. I'm trying. It's funny. I was thinking about him versus Cutler, and if the Chargers are sort of like the West Coast version of the Cowboys, I feel.
Yeah.
And Rivers is the same way. Just things go wrong, but I also think he's gone as far as he can go. I don't see him winning an AFC Championship game. Do you?
That whole team feels like it needs an identity change.
Yeah.
If you had put it this way, if you had said to me on Sunday Night Football this year, a team's going to blow a 24-14 lead and then have a chance on the last drive and get screwed by a couple calls, and it's going to be 2nd and 37, and then the QB's going to get stripped on the game-ending sack, which team would you pick?
Yeah.
I think the candidates would be Philly, Dallas, and San Diego.
Yeah, there you go.
Those would be the three, right? Is
that
there anybody else you would pick in that scenario?
No, I think that's it.
So when we talk about like identities, that game just kind of fit with the San Diego brand. It's 24-14, it was over.
I mean, they were best when they had Darren Sproles in there. As good as Matthews, everyone's making Matthews out to be. The Sproles is a dynamite game breaker and struggling a little this year, but that was the best that team was, I think.
Yeah, there's something, although this is what they do, and they'll probably end up shocking somebody next week.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think, I was on this about 2 weeks ago just because I have a huge Bears fan in my office. The Bears defense is really good.
Yeah.
And every week they do stuff, and especially like if they're going, it's a bad offense.
Eventually it'll happen. They have Tillman and these guys, they're playmakers, and they're looking to score, not just turn the ball over. Some teams have trouble getting turnovers. This team wants to score with the ball every time they touch it.
The other team, I might have been wrong on the Ravens.
Yeah.
That was a bad win. You got to beat KC by more than 3.
Yeah, like as far as
embarrassing.
Elite teams go, if you want to put them up there, there are teams like Houston and San Francisco, and within like 6 minutes of the game if you're going to have a chance. The Ravens leave you in there pretty much the whole time and play down the competition. I mean, Castle fumbled that snap. That could have been their game. That would have been their first lead, I think, of the season, Kansas City.
Flacco lost my fantasy, and in the league we're in, Flacco lost. I lost by a point because Flacco couldn't get to 10 points.
Who did you start him over? I was looking at that.
I started him over Eli and Schaub.
Eli, huh?
It was Eli against Cleveland at home. I just thought, that looks like a classic crappy Eli game.
That's the other one everyone fell in love with. I mean, that might have been the only thing I called right yesterday. Everyone's like, Giants never covered double or whatever high spreads.
I was one of them.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, what about when they're going against a rookie quarterback? They've lost their last game, and their next 4 are against like the Dallas, Washington. Who they play this week? They have a ton of good games.
That game was 14-0 Browns. Though.
It was. They got off to a good start. They did, but
quickly,
it seems like doesn't matter who they put at receiver. The Giants. It's an athletic group, and they're just going to score points.
Yeah, I have the Giants like 5 or 6. I mean, I haven't made the list, but they're right there, right under. You get the Houston, San Fran, and Atlanta, and then maybe the Pats, just because the way the Pats, the offensive performance in the second half against Buffalo, and then everything that happened yesterday. It's probably one of the best game-and-a-half stretches in the history of the franchise.
Well, yeah, I mean, and they're actually another team. Like, you sort of know you're not going to beat them when they get rolling. And
the running game has been where I was talking about a couple of Pats fans, like, is this the best running game the Patriots have ever had, potentially?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter who's in, they're doing stuff. They've never had just a whole slew of running backs who could just come in and do stuff.
Absolutely.
Ridley's really good.
I think they converted like 2 3rd and 4s running yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking, I'm like, wow, when does that happen? When do they even try that? They think to try that. The rest
It's
of trouble.
I think Lombardi had the stat. They had 77 plays that were either a run or a completion.
Wow.
If you're going to do that, you're going to beat everybody.
Yeah, Brady was like 15 for 18 at one point with like 2 or 3 drops. 2 of them were bad drops. Yeah.
And then Denver, that's the 3rd time now in 4 games they've fallen behind by 20 to somebody. Now they might just be a team that can't go against really good teams, but everybody else they can beat.
I think, like, I know you go at it with your friend Gus about the noodle arm, and then, like, the stats prove that he doesn't have the noodle arm, Manning, but I see some of those passes do not look good. I mean, they're floaters, and he got the benefit of a pass interference as a result.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no way he was underthrowing that one in the end zone. That they ended up getting at the one after that. And, that combined with, if you're going to have Willis McGahee fumbling once or twice a game, you're right, they're not going to beat the better team.
He has some real groaner throws. He had one that it sailed out of bounds, but the thing was in the air for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It was just moving glacier speed.
I know.
I think it's amazing, though, and he's so smart. Like, he just knows, there's Devin McCourty. I'm going to throw to him.
Yep.
We need a pass interference. I'm just going to throw to that guy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the week 6 lines. Here are the bye teams. The Bears.
Yep. Only good one.
The New Orleans Saints, and then, thank God, Carolina and Jacksonville have a bye. We don't have to watch those 2 terrible teams.
I wrote about this in the Jacksonville, the run and shoot on Grantland today. Like, Jacksonville, the one thing we should have done is, and they suck anyway, but they're wearing these pitch black jerseys, and it was 90 degrees in Miami, and the second half line was like Chicago -3 or 3.5. I'm like, I should just jump on this because they're going to be dead in 10 minutes, and 38-0, they get outscored. These teams can't even help themselves.
After 5 weeks, the favorites are 30, 43, and 3. Home teams are 34, 39, and 3. Home dogs are 16, 11, and 1.
Yeah, and I think home dogs were 3 and 2 against the spread this weekend, and home team was 9 and 4 straight up. Yeah, it was nothing definitive, I don't think, this week. I was looking.
Well, home teams that are favored, you probably want to go against, according to 5 weeks of evidence.
Home teams that are favored.
Yeah, they're 10 games under 500.
Yeah.
You basically just pick home dogs and road underdogs.
Yeah.
And
it's
you're
tough,
good
though.
to go.
I mean, all right, you go against home teams that are favored, but you really, you want to take. I'm trying to think. You want to take Miami over Cincinnati every time? Do you want to take?
Yeah.
You want to take Seattle over Carolina?
I almost used the Dolphins in the Super Contest.
You did.
It was between the Dolphins and the Steelers for the last spot, and of course I made the wrong choice as always. But I think Miami is like legitimately not terrible.
You're on board with Tannehill here, right?
Well, I thought he was good in the. He was terrible in the Jets game, and then he was really good last week.
Right.
And but in general, they finished last year strong too, and the reason everybody counted them out were not good reasons. I include myself. It was because the coach seemed kind of like a dimwit on Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
They traded Brandon Marshall, who is kind of definitely a polarizing guy in the locker room. Mm-hmm. And then they traded that guy to the Colts that everybody said was a lunatic.
They could come in second in the AFC East.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Well, let's before we get to the Week 6 lines, just quickly, let's talk tonight.
Yeah.
The Texans are favored by 9 over the Jets. Mm-hmm. Everything on the planet is pointing to the public just jumping on the Texans here.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even come up with a case for the Jets.
No.
Usually that means the Jets, something funky is going to happen. Put it this way, I do not have money on tonight's game because I don't know what to make of it.
I don't either. I mentioned before I have the Jets as my 5th pick in a batch that's gone 0-4 so far.
Yeah.
I just thought maybe they do something weird to get the crowd going, and they score early. And I can't even convince myself. I don't know why. I don't know how they stay with it.
Here's the case for the Jets. Here it
What
is.
it?
It's a kitchen sink game for them.
Yeah.
This is the game where you have your 2 plays that you're excited to use during the course of the year. You use both of them tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You use every weird, goofy trick you can come up with in this game.
That's
You
true.
have to. You empty the classic bit. By the way, I lied. I actually do have money on tonight's game because you and I made one of our great bets of all time.
I don't know yet. We'll see.
I hope America is sitting down.
This is all you.
Yeah, this is all me. Last week, I texted the cuz and I said, the Lynx are going to beat the Sparks in round 1.
That's women's basketball for anyone who's lost.
Yeah, WNBA round 1, the Lynx. I have a friend who's a WNBA fan who was telling me that the Lynx are probably the best women's basketball team of all time. I was like, really? So they were like minus 240 favorites in round 1.
Yeah.
And we parlayed them with the Texans money line. It was basically about even odds.
Yeah.
And they went and they took care of business against the Sparks. Emotional 1-point win in LA yesterday.
They won the first. They won both. Both games. And there you go. If there's ever a reason to not take the Texans, it's because we need them tonight to win.
Oh, that's true.
Complete our WNBA parlay.
Oh, our Lynx Texans parlay. One of the best ever.
It's the Lynx Jinx. That's what we're calling it. Don't take the Texans tonight. You actually called me, and I saved the message. This is the cockamamie bet you put together. Here's how it went. Cousin Sal, sports guy here. I just had an epiphan, I can't even say that word. Anyway, it just occurred to me that the Minnesota Lynx are the best WNBA team I've ever seen. It's true. In all 3.5 WNBA games I've watched in my life, I believe this to be the case. Candace Wiggins, Rebecca Brunson, Taj McWilliams-Franklin, what a great group of lasses. I'm even thinking about going as a Lynx for Halloween, except I have no idea what one is. So let's parlay the Lynx to advance against the Sparks with the Texans money line. And when we win, we'll happily live ever after, sipping Mai Tais on the island of Dr. Moreau. Sports guy, over and out, Con. There you go.
You know, the Fever are giving 4 to the Sun tonight.
What is that? We have to be done with this. Come on.
I think we might have to look at the Sun plus 4.
The Sun? It's not even the Suns?
No, it's the Sun. It's the Connecticut Sun.
The Connecticut Sun. They have their own Sun. Oh,
I might do this next year. I've been thinking about it.
What?
Totally throw myself in the WNBA. Like, really watch it. How many people have thrown themselves in WNBA? From a gambling standpoint, it could be a huge advantage. I know basketball really well.
Not many people throw themselves in Mount Vesuvius either. But, yeah, there's a reason.
You're right. The idea needs some work.
I worry for people who have the Texans tonight, knowing that that's the second half of our parlay.
Do you think, is this a serious question, do you think we're the only 2 people in America who have a Lynx Texans parlay?
Absolutely.
Double X. We got to figure out how to get teams with X's and parlays. That should be our new thing. Yeah. All right, week 6.
Oh, the Red Sox are. Oh, no.
Yeah. Too soon.
All right, week 6. Here we go. Like you said, Carolina, Chicago, Jacksonville, New Orleans are off Thursday night. Pittsburgh at Tennessee. Now, through 5 weeks, we're 2-2-1 against each other, picking the line.
Yeah. God. I really had trouble with this one. You could talk me into 4, and you could talk me into 6.
All right.
I'm going to say it's Steelers by 4.
All right, I get this one because I said 7.5, thinking that Tennessee is one of the worst teams, and it's 6.5. They're atrocious. I mean, I'm willing to say that's the biggest fluke this year when they beat the Lions on like 5 50-plus yard touchdowns.
And this is what confuses me about your Minnesota pick.
What is it?
That you used them for the contest. We talked about what a garbage win that was against Detroit when they got those 4 ridiculous touchdowns. It was like the only good thing that happened to them all season.
I know, but I think like upstart teams like the Vikings, they get slapped around eventually. Last week
that's going to happen next week. This is the week for that with the Vikings.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. They might be facing Kirk Cousins. But,
that line seems a little high.
You think so?
That Steelers line, yeah.
I'm all for it. I love taking the road team on the home team on Thursday night, but I can't go down with this crap squad again. It's so bad. I mean, really, Chris Johnson just write checks from now on every time he steps off the field.
I don't think the Steelers are very good.
No.
I've felt that way all year.
I will say this: they make me the angriest out of any team when I'm watching the games. With their helmet-to-helmet stuff, I feel like they're going to ruin my game. You know, like Ryan Clark is helmet-to-helmet, and then he's like in the referee's face. Like, what are you talking about? You have gunpowder all over your hands. Nuts.
Here are, I'm just looking at Pittsburgh. So they've only played 4 games because they had a bye week.
Right.
They lose to Denver by 12. They beat the Jets at home by 17.
Yeah.
They lose to Oakland, who then subsequently got trounced the following week, and probably the worst 2 cornerbacks in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And then they barely beat Philly yesterday. I mean,
they seem
barely.
to win when they have to, right? So I don't know if this counts as that, but
the thing that would worry me if I was a Steelers fan was that they had that game. It was 13-7.
Mm-hmm.
Vicks fumbled twice already. The Eagles can't do anything. And then the Eagles just went down the field and drove and got the go-ahead TD.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not the same team. The Pittsburgh team's not the same. Green Bay's not the same. I think we have to just admit that. It doesn't mean they won't make the playoffs eventually, but there's some of these.
Yeah, I really do think the Steelers and Green Bay are getting benefit of the doubt just because of the names.
Yeah.
And the 2 quarterbacks are involved. And even the coaches. There's a familiarity with the coaches. But I don't think either of those teams are the same team.
No. All right. Sunday now. Dallas at Baltimore. Here we go.
Oh, man. You know, this is actually, I think, a good spot for you. I think you could beat this Baltimore team.
I think it's a good spot. Like, every year we play a team tough on the road. We played the Patriots tough on the road last year. We weren't supposed to win. And we didn't win, but we kept it close. So I think we have Baltimore and Atlanta are those games for the Cowboys this year. And what do you think?
Their defense isn't very good, which you need to play defenses that aren't very good.
Right.
I'm going to say I think it's a little high. Ravens by 6.
All right, I said 5.5, and it's 4. And I don't know why. I'm reading into that, but it makes me like my team a little there to keep it close.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at final scores, we got trounced by the Bears. We got beat up by Seattle. Like, it shouldn't be 4. It should be higher.
I don't know if that's giving Dallas too much credit or people not believing in Baltimore. Probably leaning toward the latter there.
Yeah, no one wants to see their coach come down with a serious illness, but what would Garrett have to have for Des Bryant to step up? Like, you know, something in between shin splints and the hantavirus.
We totally blew that with the Colts game.
Yeah, we did. We did.
And I hope that, you know, obviously best of luck to him in the recovery. It's a great story, but
yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about it. I just forgot.
I know. I passed it off too. I was like,
and everybody likes that guy too. I mean, we could have talked about that for 2 seconds and figured out had all the makings.
That was dumb. Do you feel like football's getting depressing though, with leukemia and breast cancer and concussions? Like, jeez. I feel like, all right, let me watch a marathon of hoarders. God.
Yeah. Maybe November it'll pick up.
Yeah. All right, Cincy at Cleveland.
Another one I had trouble with. Hey, these are the only 2 I had trouble with. I think I'm going to nail about 7 lines, but this one I'm not. I had Bengals by 2.5.
Yeah, you hit it exactly.
All right.
I said 4. I don't know. Cleveland 0-5 now against 3-2. You could give more than a field goal now.
The Browns are starting to move toward a place where they might not win a game.
Yeah.
Because it'd be really hard to go 0-16, but I feel like they might have the team to do it. And I feel like the Cleveland fans would embrace it.
I knew the Giants would keep it close, but the fact that the Giants were almost up 2 touchdowns at halftime, I mean, it doesn't take a lot to come back on this team.
Here are the rest of the Cleveland games. Will they be favored? Will they be getting less than 4 points in any of these games? At Indy, home for San Diego, home for Baltimore, at Dallas, home for Pittsburgh, at Oakland. I guess maybe that one. Home for Kansas City. I guess that's a good one.
Yeah.
Home for Washington, at Denver, at Pittsburgh. They could be 0-12 going into that home game with Kansas City.
What week is it? You said that's week 13?
That's week 14. Home for Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kansas City's lucky to have a win too. That could have been.
Kansas City's very lucky to have a win.
Yeah. Cincinnati, on the other hand, they need to run the ball better. Your boy law firm is fumbling now. The one thing he didn't do, and it's putting a lot of pressure on Andy Dalton, I think.
It should have been. It should have been a sign to the Bengals fans that when we lost law firm, no tears were shed by Patriot fans.
No, that was it.
Wished him best. Thanks for the memories, but yeah, we're pretty sure we can replace you.
Replace him with 3 guys who are probably better now. St. Louis at Miami. This is a fun game.
Oh, feel good game.
Yeah.
2 young upstarts. I had this Dolphins by 3. Feel good about it too.
All right, I hit this exactly. Dolphins by 3.5.
Ah.
Little heavier. St. Louis away from their turf.
Yeah, I will say the Rams out of that dome is probably going to be a different team, but Dolphins at home haven't been good.
No, they haven't. Amendola being out hurts this team. I mean, I think Bradford completed 7 passes last week and they won. I know my quarterback wouldn't be able to do that.
The Seahawks win was pretty fluky. We talked about that last week. They had that weird field goal touchdown.
Uh-huh.
Then the Cards thing was just really just came down to the fact they couldn't block Chris Long and the other guys. Miami will be able to block those guys.
You know, Amendola, let me just say this. I'm a fan of his. He was like an undrafted free agent for the Cowboys. I think he went to Texas Tech, same as your Wes Welker. But in 08, they undrafted free agent. He was cut. I think Philly picked him up. He didn't do anything. Had a good year with the Rams. He was like the all-purpose yards leader in 2010, and then got hurt. And then got hurt again, like a nasty injury last week. So he's done for another 7 weeks. But they show him going back to the dressing room, and he throws. I mean,
I saw this.
Devastated. He throws his helmet. You saw that?
Yeah.
And then he comes back in the second half. I mean, really, must be miserable beyond any words, you know. Comes back, his arm's in a sling. He has the pink hat on. Like, what more do you have to do? Like, whoa, you're not going out there yet. Put this on. You're going to be on TV. Come on. Give him a break. All right. India Jets. I know you don't like that stuff. India Jets.
No, I do. Hey.
No, I feel like you're allowed to talk about it. There's plenty of
I think we should be allowed to talk about it. It did make me more aware.
Right? Of course, yeah. You're very aware.
But, we don't have prostate cancer.
No, we don't have any of it.
All right.
India Jets. I was way off on this one.
Really?
Way off.
I had Jets by 3.
Wow, you were right on. I had Jets by 6. What? We're ready to pull the trigger on the Colts, like to be 3 or less underdog, huh, on the road?
I'd be fired up. We're in that team wins pool.
Yeah.
And the Colts were my last pick. I was kind of hoping to squeeze out 9 wins from them.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say Andrew Luck solidified the Rookie of the Year award with that 3rd and 7 run yesterday.
Was pretty good.
I think he passes RG3.
It is interesting, though. The big fear with Griffin was how he would hold up.
Yeah.
And it went 5 weeks, and it's a hit, anything can happen.
If you have to bet Kirk Cousins over under 3 games starting this year, what do you do?
Over.
Yeah. All right. I thought we were going to have a bet there. All right. Oakland and Atlanta.
Oh, God.
Might be the only eliminator team you could take here.
I've been too low over and over and again with these high lines. It's not going to happen anymore. I went Falcons 12.5.
Oh, wow. You're not kidding. Out of spite. I said 8.5, and it's 9.
Really?
Yeah, you might be back in the 3-team teaser business.
Oh, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The Raiders can't stop anybody.
Yeah.
You can throw in them until the cows come home.
Off week.
Is
Atlanta
that how
has
he used the
covered
cows
last-
coming home? You haven't heard that one in a while.
No, they're coming home.
Yeah, the cows are coming home.
Yeah, maybe it is a little low.
That's too low. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
You're taking the Raiders in that game?
No, I can't. But coming off a bye, I'm just trying to
please.
figure the psyche behind what making it 9.
Well, it does seem like, especially this year, the bye week teams are always getting a lot of respect.
Yeah. That
Right.
must be it.
Yeah.
Detroit at Philly.
Speaking of bye week teams, I have no respect for this Lions team. I don't think they're good. I'm going to say Eagles, but the Eagles, nobody knows what to make of them. I'm putting this in the Vegas zone. Eagles by 5.5.
Yeah, you're going to get it. I said 4. I thought it would be a little lower. It's 6.
Oh.
So you now have you have 3. I have 4. And
That feels like a textbook people teasing the Eagles with something else and getting screwed game.
well, that's a weird one because Detroit was on a bye, right?
Yeah.
Now they jacked that up to 6.
The Lions, nobody has respect for.
Yeah.
You know, our friend Hench in our West Coast Fantasy League, he picked up Nick Foles like 3 weeks ago because he has Vic.
Yeah.
It's kind of he's basically using 2 roster spots to have whoever Philly's terrible quarterback is going to be.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't throw darts because I'm 1-4, but it's a weird strategy, right? Like even if Foles comes in, what happens?
Yeah, you're right.
Would you start Nick Foles in a fantasy week? You wouldn't, right?
No, there's guys out there. Fitzpatrick or even Ponder at this point would be better, right?
I have Vic in my East Coast League, which has a smaller roster, and our rules are a little different. So it's like the fact that he runs doesn't totally help. I think I'm going to waive him this week. I mean, I think this is really it for him. Yeah, I don't think he's good anymore.
You gonna pick up Foles?
Is he good anymore? What has he shown that he's good?
Well, it's not fun to root for him because he's A, Michael Vick, and B, there's a chance his career is going to end in every run. And now the fumbling thing isn't great. So yeah, there's a lot of downside to having him on your fantasy.
I just think he's reckless with the throws.
Yeah.
He's erratic. He turns the ball over all the time. What am I missing?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I used to think Macklin and Jackson were like maybe the best duo receivers, and now they're middle of the pack, I would say. At best.
Yeah.
KC at Tampa Bay. The game.
One quick thing. Colston had a big game yesterday.
Yeah.
We've all had him,
Mm-hmm.
right? At this point, everybody's had Marcus Colston on their fantasy team. And yet, I don't remember my experience being that great. I wonder if anyone else does. I felt weirdly bitter that he had a good game last night.
I have him
was
in our
angry
West
about
Coast League. I was playing our friend Tony, who has Breeze, so I know he
Yeah.
was going crazy every time the ball was in the air, and Colston came down with it. And
Yeah.
I'm looking for a way to trade him Colston because I know it's going to be spread out to Lance Moore and everybody else
Yeah.
when he comes back, and
It reminded me why Colston always goes too high in whatever round or too much for $10 more than he's worth every time there's an auction because he has games like that and they stick in your head.
Yeah.
But the reality is he does it once or twice a year.
And it comes out to 9 TDs and 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
But because he's part of a high power offense.
But you watch something like last night and you just think, oh my God, that guy should be probably the third or fourth best receiver in the league.
Yeah, he's jumping over defenders, catching ball. KC at Tampa.
KC at Tampa. I have this firmly in the Vegas zone. 5.5 Tampa.
Oh, too high. I got it exactly. I said 3.5.
Too high? How can you go too high with the Chiefs on the road against anybody? What is the too high?
I don't know. Tampa doesn't beat up on anybody, do they?
Tampa's kind of sneaky solid though.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a little low.
That's too low. I hope it stays that low.
Yeah.
And plus, this thing with the Chiefs fans booing Castle, that's going to be the dominant story this week. Everybody's going to get on their high horse and get all pious about it. But
I got to say, it was a lousy thing to do. But if you're going to boo me, I want it to be when I have a concussion. Or if you're going to cheer me sarcastically, cheer that I'm leaving, do it when I have a concussion, so I can't even tell what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. Yeah, it was bad news though. You don't cheer a car crash because the guy was driving in front of you in the carpool lane alone. It doesn't. Come on, guys, get it together.
So Tampa beat Carolina in Week 1. That win doesn't look as impressive as maybe it did when it happened.
They were ahead big on the Giants and blew that game.
Yep, they lost to the Giants by 7, but had that game all the way. They played Dallas really well. Freeman just couldn't do anything. He lost by 6.
Yep.
And then they went ahead in that Redskins game. They're about to win, and then the Redskins charged back and got that last-second field goal. Tampa hasn't played a bad game yet.
Well, talk about no identity, though. You don't know what to make of them. They were just Eli.
What do you mean?
Manning.
They do have an identity. They have the identity of you're not going to take a knee against us.
Yeah, that's it.
We're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You don't take a knee against us.
But the first 59 minutes and 15 seconds, they have no identity.
All right, that's true.
The Giants threw all over them. The
Yeah.
Cowboys couldn't do anything against them. But I don't know what's the deal with their defense and your extra Freeman.
According to their team thing, they're 29th out of 32 in passing yards, and they're 32nd in passing yards given up.
Wow.
Which seems incredible that the Saints aren't first in that category.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bizarre. All right. So those are the early games. What's the best early? There's some good ones there, I think.
There
Well,
are.
Detroit at Philly will be interesting.
Baltimore, Dallas, the best one.
Dallas at Baltimore.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Buffalo
like
at Arizona. I hit this one exactly.
You did?
I did.
I have Cards by 7.
Oh, too high. 4.5.
Oh, no. What?
4.5.
4.5? Has anyone watched the Bills lately?
Do you think there are a couple, you say Buffalo and Kansas City are road teams where the line is too weak right now? You're saying.
The Bills rolled over the last game and a half.
Yeah.
They gave up like almost, what did they give up, 86 points? They gave up 86 points and like 1,000 yards in a game and a half.
I was reading bad things about the Cardinals' offensive line, and I know they had, like, a couple weeks ago, they had a guy who had never played tackle before, a couple guys, and if this is the week that Mario Williams is going to do anything, maybe it is, or if there is a week, maybe this is.
I'd like to announce that I feel retroactively vindicated for the Texans for criticizing the Texans for not taking Bush over Mario Williams.
Yeah.
I don't care if it took 6 years. I'm celebrating.
All right.
I was right. Everybody can go screw off.
Well, Bill, you're one of the few that recognizes that it's not about the X's and O's. It's about the Jims and Joes.
In the National Football League.
In the National Football League. Now, here's one. New England at Seattle. This is the one. This is the game. The Patriots look good for, what'd you say, a whole full game and a half. They look like they're going to breeze through everything. Do they come out and struggle now?
Has there ever been anyone less qualified to pick a line than me in this Patriots-Seahawks scenario? I've totally overrated the Seahawks, and I'm never rash about the Patriots.
And you'll get it right. Watch. What do you think?
Oh, man.
I'll give you a hint. Plus, New England.
I have this sucks. I have the Patriots by 6.
Oh, too high. Wow, I'm going to win this week. 4.5. I said 4.5. It's 4.
That's what I had up until about 10 seconds ago, and I switched it. Pats by 4. Seahawks defense is really good.
This is
they annihilated the Panthers offense yesterday.
Yep. Who are you going to root for, though? That's the question.
I'll tell you, it almost looked like it was over for Russell Wilson yesterday.
You thought so? Well, he threw 2 picks, right?
Well, but they were doing, like, his stats are really good because they basically designed this whole offensive game plan to make him look good. Like, it was a lot of these design rollouts and quick passes and things that, just to get him going. And it just seemed like there was no way the Panthers were going to score, and then he threw a pick 6.
Yeah.
Then he rallied the team down and brought him down and scored.
Well, it's like standing next to a really fat guy in a picture. Like, oh man, I look good now. Next to Cam Newton, who I don't know what is going. I mean, I think he had like 7, 8 completions going into that last fourth quarter drive.
Yeah, we had like 2 weeks ago somebody compared him to Russell Westbrook in my column.
Yeah.
A reader, and that's actually definitely an insult to Russell Westbrook. I mean, the comparison probably is more Tyreek Evans, just like a really gifted athletic specimen who doesn't really seem to have any idea what he's doing.
I thought you were strictly WNBA. What's with these NBA references?
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like he's getting better.
I mean, there are some rookies who are playing better than he is right now.
Yeah. They clearly need something. He needs like a guru or whatever. Plus they invested in the running backs, and you watch the running backs and they're not even that good. Would they spend like $70 million on those two guys? Barnwell was all over this. He's right. You should never spend that kind of money on running backs unless it's like Arian Foster.
A good buddy of mine made me a trade offer. Is there anything that's more depressing than when you get a fantasy trade offer? Like I'm like, I don't even want to open the email because it's going to be insulting. And guy tried to trade me Jonathan Stewart for someone. I can't even remember who he wanted, but
oh God,
yeah, good buddy of mine. And I'm like, how many years you have to watch the Panthers offense to know you wouldn't take any of those guys?
To know that you never want that, yeah.
Giants at 49ers.
Giants at 49ers. Our marquee game of the day.
Yeah.
I have the 49ers favored by 4 points.
All right, I had that too, and it's 6.
Oh!
They're not screwing around.
That's too high.
Yeah, I guess so.
The Giants are going to show up for this game.
That's the thing. But let's say the Giants fall behind like they did. That's the one good thing San Francisco is good at. They will clamp down. If they're down if they're up like 10-0 on the Giants, like Cleveland was, it's just about over, I think.
Yes. I really. It does seem like the Giants kind of rested everybody in that Browns game to get ready for this one, right?
Yeah, maybe. Hey, why isn't Colin Kaepernick getting as much publicity as he should be? He's running, doing things every game. That's huge for them. Or does he not worship enough?
He's basically doing all the stuff everyone thought Tebow would be doing for the Jets.
Yeah, he's making them an exciting team.
I think he's terrifying. Every time he comes in, you feel like he's going to rush for 20 yards.
Yeah, you're going to get 7 yards up against
he's really good at that.
But you wanted last week we talked about 3. I said 4 divisions. You said 3 divisions were locked. Do you want to sign off on the Niners now, or are you still?
No, I'm not ready to sign off on them.
Really? All right.
Yeah, I'm not ready yet.
God, it looks so good.
It's too early. There's too many teams in that division that are over 500 for me to sign off.
I was just trying to think what would have to happen for them not to win.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, somebody gets hurt and they could lose the division. Like Alex Smith get hurt tomorrow. Alex Smith would hurt them. Yeah.
I don't know.
They get some offensive line injuries.
Minnesota at Washington. They have a line on this with RG3 questionable.
I had Minnesota by 3.5.
All right. Who gets this? I said 3, so it's 2.5. Wow, I'm smoking you. This is great. This is good.
How was there even a line in this game when the difference between Robert Griffin and the other dude is so significant? There should be no line on that game yet.
They're saying, I guess they're assuming he'll play.
Any bookie who puts out that line is an idiot.
Minnesota gets lucky again, right?
Nah, I think this could be the week. This is the week that everybody writes about how Percy Harvin's an MVP candidate and how the Vikings turn around and Leslie Frazier, what a good coach he is. This is bad for them.
So if Cousins plays, this is a pick 'em?
Oh, I think if Cousins plays, why would it be a pick 'em? Who's favored now?
They're given 2.5, Washington.
Oh, I picked the Vikings by 3.5.
Oh no,
I was 6 points off.
Oh yeah.
Why would the Redskins be favored over the Vikings?
They probably shouldn't even count this. What you mean if RG3's playing, you don't think they'd be favored?
Why? How is he going to play? He just got a concussion. He's not going to play.
It's mild.
They're not going to play him next week.
Yeah, they probably.
There's no way they play him. I think this line should be at least 3.5.
Wow, the other way. See, Minnesota's they're getting lucky.
I've seen Kirk Cousins. I've watched Kirk Cousins.
God, Minnesota, and they play defense too. They're going to step up against them.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. You have Kirk Cousins on one end, and then you have a week of everybody talking about how great Minnesota is on the other end. It's really, somebody's going down.
5-1 Vikings? Wow. All right, then the Sunday night game. Great one. Green Bay at Houston.
Yeah, I went too high on this, probably. I have Texans by 6.5.
You missed. I think I get it. I said 4, and it's 5. Yeah, so I'll get it by a half point. Did you ever think Houston would give 5 to Green Bay, though?
I think that if they kill the Jets tonight, though, that line goes to 6.5.
Yeah, probably.
Green Bay, the public's going to have to realize that Green Bay is in Green Bay right now. We need to see it one time.
Mm-hmm. I do feel like they're not playing well, but they're also running into a lot of bad luck here with that Seattle game, that screw job call at the end, and the big we're playing for our coach game in Indy. So maybe this is where they step it up.
That was great. That was my favorite thing of the weekend, other than the Patriots getting 77 first downs. The Colts. Even though I picked the Packers, whatever, I didn't bet on it, but I just thought I like the Colts comeback. I like the Andrew Luck. I like the fact that the Colts have turned it around so quickly.
That was fun. If you're Peyton Manning, you might rather be on the Colts right now.
Yeah,
wow.
You might. I mean, we didn't talk about this, but Denver's just. I guess we talked about it a little. I just don't think Denver's very good.
Yeah, the problem is someone has to win that division, and 9 wins might get it.
Here's a bad recipe: bad running backs combined with a bad defense.
Yeah,
and they might have a bad defense.
Yeah, they're another one. Their defense is all over the place. Maybe beat the bad team.
Last game Monday night.
Denver at San Diego. Speaking of,
I hit this exact, and so did you.
No,
Chargers by 3.
I was off. You're gonna get this one. I said 3.5. 1.5. San Diego.
Oh.
Not even good enough to get the 3 at home.
Wow. Because they're not that good.
Weird. I just figured these teams would beat each other up at home, and that would be it.
Who do you? I'll give you this line: John Gruden gushing about Peyton Manning versus gushing about Phil Rivers. Peyton Manning -9.
-9 hours.
Minus 9 gushes.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of gushing.
-9 gushes. You take Manning, or would you take the gushes with
Manning.
With Rivers?
Manning, I think. Although here's the thing I'll say about Gruden. I think it's like a fox the way he does it. He talks about the Cowboys. I mean, I love when he calls the Cowboys games because he looks at it like I do, and I think it's because he's angling for a job, and he may be doing the same for San Diego. So maybe there's some extra gushes.
You think this is like a John Gruden job campaign?
It could be.
Monday Night John Gruden job campaign.
I think he looks at the slate and says, all right, let's see. Is there any chance of me coaching either of these teams in the next 3 years? No.
Wouldn't that be funny if he did become the Chargers coach, and then he's like, I got to be honest, that's the only job I wanted. I want to live in San Diego. I've just been waiting for North to get fired, and year after year they've brought him back.
Right. Yeah.
I was just sitting here biding my time, just dying for them to fire him.
Yeah, we won a Super Bowl in San Diego. This place is good luck.
That would be my number one team I'd want to coach.
San Diego.
Yeah.
I think you could do it. I know a guy. Yeah, I'm going to make some calls.
You get to live in San Diego. You have a much better chance of luring free agents there. Mm-hmm. They don't even sell out the games, so there's like very little pressure on the coach, right?
That's true.
As we've seen by the fact that they brought Norv back for 3 straight years. Mm-hmm. So it's like, really, you can do anything, and they're going to keep bringing you back.
Yeah, the owner's not paying attention because Norv Turner's still there.
Right. Yeah. Worst case scenario, they move the team to Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. Now you're in Los Angeles, where they'd be so grateful to have a team. You get like a 10-year free pass there.
Right. Close to SeaWorld. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not a bad deal.
It's pretty good. What happens when LA gets a football team?
What are we going to do? You think they might get 2?
Well, we're going to get season tickets. That's the first thing we're going to do. And the second thing is, I'm saying with our children. What happens if any of our sons decide to adopt the LA football team? I feel like it would be bad to stop it.
I think you're in a good spot here because you gave your kids the LA Kings, the hockey team, and I think you have to do that. I mean, if you want to be a diehard fan, loyal to your home base, you have to give your kid because they'll go through hell in school if they have 4 teams that are all over the map.
Yeah.
So, but you gave the Kings up, so I think you're okay. You don't have to.
Except for the part that hockey's not coming back this year.
Oh yeah.
Except for the lack of hockey.
Yeah. Well, if you can convince your kids that hockey only runs every 2 years, then you're in good shape.
Is
How
everything
bad was
okay?
It by the way, that Bronson Arroyo has a no-hitter, and I didn't even think about changing the channel. I saw the updates and everything. I was like, I'm not. Gates scores 40 points. I have a chance to win my fantasy game. I'm not.
It did feel like a really bad strategy for baseball to just go all in against NFL Sunday with 4 games. Well, Probably not the way they should have done it.
And like at the end of the day, baseball still has with that rain delay, they still have 2 games left. Oh my God, who's sticking around for the next 5.5 hours?
They were dominating the 35 to 50 white male demographic on Twitter, though.
Yeah, were they?
Yeah, they were just crushing it. I don't think anybody under 25 really even knew the baseball playoffs were on yesterday, unless they were rooting for one of those teams.
I feel like I'm un-American, not wanting to check in, but as long as the Yankees are winning, I really don't want to.
Well, you figure next round people will care.
Yeah,
and if there's a game 5 in any of these rounds, people will care. But
I guess so. And good news for the Jets. Maybe a lot of the New York fan base won't be watching tonight because they'll be tuning in to the Orioles game.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. I did enjoy. I watched some of the O's Yankee game, and A-Rod comes up, and the TBS, whoever the graphic guy, clearly just hates A-Rod. He's just putting up A-Rod stats.
Really?
Like, the least flattering A-Rod stats he could find. A-Rod has not homered in his last 65 postseason at-bats.
I love it. And then Russell Martin, who Dodgers gave him for nothing.
Yeah.
Makes a difference. So.
Yeah. I was nice to see Camden Yards playoff game. I really thoroughly enjoyed that.
That's fun.
Anyway, give us a plug.
Jimmy Kimmel Live tonight. Ben Affleck, your guy, and Demi Lovato.
Ben Affleck?
Yeah. It's supposed to be a great movie.
Yeah, everybody likes that movie.
Later in the week, Megan Mullally, Will Arnett, Chris Elliott, and Dwight Yoakam. I think they're touring together, and Kevin James. And my Grantland blog on Fridays. Tonight, first touchdown, Tebow, 12-1. I think they mix it up a little. And also take the field at 5-1 in case the Texans go crazy defensively.
And at gunpoint, we're taking the Texans to cover that -9, right?
Yeah, well, we have them with the links.
I forgot.
Watch the links.
Cousin Sal, as always, a pleasure. We'll talk to you next week.
Good job there, Billy.
Good job, you.
So I get to sign off. Whoa!
Thank you for downloading the B.S. Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Pod Center at ESPNradio.com.
Peace out.